I'm going to be talking about the revisionist or anti-Western. In terms of ideology, the anti-Western was a challenge to the tropes and themes of the traditional Westerns of years past. In particular, it was a shift away from the forms of storytelling of the clean-cut hero with the white hat fighting an evil that was either a representation of the wilderness of the frontier that needed to become civilized or a dark reflection of the hero's self. In the late 60s, our society's cultural zeitgeist began to shift as counterculture erupted from places such as civil rights movement, a reaction to the Vietnam War, and the lashing and abandonment of the Hays Codes regarding mature content seen in American films. Robert Altman dubbed his film McCabe and Mrs. Miller an anti-Western, and this film is considered the epitome of the genre. A massive piece of what makes a Western is iconography. Open arid deserts or mesas, small towns on the frontier, cowboys on horseback wearing boots and Stetsons. The anti-Western changed this iconography we had come to know from the Western genre. Auteurs from other countries shifted the iconography to their culture, and one could argue that a number of Akira Kurosawa's samurai films are revisionist Westerns. In McCabe and Mrs. Miller, the iconography is shifted outright to challenge the norms and tropes of the Western genre. A quiet southwest frontier town is turned into a rowdy, muddy northwestern town covered in rain and snow. A Stetson is turned into a bowler hat, a leather jacket into a fur coat. The conventions of character are also challenged from traditional westerns in film.
Just can't go on. And they brought me their comfort, and later they brought me this song. Oh, I hope you run into them, you who've been traveling so long.
I got to hand it to you, Pudgy. John.
Call me McKay and tell her what girl know who you mean.
You know I want to be your friend, don't you, McKay?
Why?
Well, you and me is the only two real businessmen in Presbyterian Church.
Now, that ain't a whole lot to have in common, is it?
Well, you're a Catholic, ain't you?
Nope.
Oh. Well, the minute I seen you ride into town, I knew you was a man to be reckoned with.
Now, Sheehan, that's a lot of shit. You know it. Now, why don't you...
McCabe is far from the traditional Western hero that we've come to know, or even the rugged, morally ambiguous anti-hero that we knew from some earlier revisionist Westerns. He's a slimy, cowardly businessman, someone who would be the first to shy away from a fight. He is not one to protect the town, but himself and his own interests. His arrogance rivals that of traditional Western villains.
Can't hit nothing with it.
Well, that don't make no sense. What kind of a gun is it?
Oh.
Them's good guns. That's what I got. Must be something wrong with it.
Nah, it's me. I just can't shoot good.
Well, let me see it. Come on. Maybe I can fix it for you.
Okay.
In keeping with the film's challenging of tropes and themes of the Western genre, this scene in particular shows how the traditional Western is being killed in this film, essentially. Someone who is the model of the young gunfighter, the young hero type, is actually the first victim of violence in the entire film, and we're about heading into the third act at this point. In other revisionist westerns, we have seen the kind of endings of the genre shift from happy endings or otherwise satisfying endings where the hero comes out victorious to one where, contrary to the hero, the town and the people are safe, but the heroes have lost, essentially. McCabe dies alone in the snow, and Mrs. Miller is stuck in an opium den, having lost just about everything, including her business partner.